Things just got worse and worse and worse as the night went on. Again, valiant effort down the stretch for the Bucs. Just too little, too late. Let's go down and let's see what Coach Fletch and the rest of the crew has to say. And as always, go Bulls. So let's head into the locker room right now and see what the guys have to say about that one. Wow. Where do the Buccaneers go from here? What an incredible atmosphere. What a good win for the Tampa Bay Lightning. They snapped a 7-game winning streak. How we feeling, Bucs Nation? It's time to party, baby.
What's going on, everybody? Contrary to Robular belief, yeah, it's for you, Robert Cochran. Everything is all good here on the Jay Recher podcast. What is going on, everybody? Happy October 17th, 2025. I was just having this conversation with somebody yesterday. I said, can you believe it's October already? They said, it's in the middle of October. It's the middle of October. Isn't that nuts? We have had over 170 shows here on the Jay Recher podcast, which is incredibly humbling. I couldn't do this without you guys, and of course couldn't do it without my sponsors, my partners here, Honest Hammer Custom Builders, LLC, 813-244-0956 for your commercial and residential needs, and of course our partners at Everett Health. Man, two great companies to work with, and man, just the future's bright. It's a Football Friday here on the Jay Recher podcast. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms at Jay Recher. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram. I am everywhere. Like and subscribe on YouTube as well, ladies and gents. We're going to do our best to make sure that we get up to 2,000 subscribers before the end of the year. Man, it's a little weird without a Buccaneers game on Sunday. I got to be honest. Monday night action against the Detroit Lions. If you're looking for a place to go watch that game, come check us out. We are going to be at Aloft in Midtown. I'll be there with my pal Ian Beckles. It's his thing. Ian Beckles, Tony Mayberry, Ty J. Armstrong, Mark Royals, a bunch of those Buccaneers from the 90s. They'll be out there, and you never know what other dignitaries are going to show up. I'll be there. I'll be a little late because I got practice going on, but Monday night at Aloft there in Midtown. Come watch Buccaneers and Lions. A phenomenal Monday night matchup. We'll talk about some Buccaneer action about 12:20, 12:25. An update from practice today. Who's out there? Who's missing? Who should we be concerned about? Who shouldn't we be concerned about? And, of course, we heard from Baker and Todd Bowles yesterday, so we'll get into some of their comments as well. We'll take a look around the rest of the NFL. Take a look at the schedules. What other games intrigue me? It's a lot of bad football out there. And then some surprising games. I mean, look at what happened last night. And I told anybody that would listen, Joe Flacco, and we're not talking about Cincinnati being a Super Bowl contender, but if there's a guy that can come in on a short week or a short 2 weeks, learn a quick playbook and find a way, it's Joe Flacco. I mean, there's so few quarterbacks that have ever walked this earth that have won a Super Bowl. He's one of them. I mean, this is a guy that's an absolute just savant. And yeah, I know he's getting up there in years, but man, you're not asking him for 17 weeks action. Just give me 1 week, and he's done it with multiple teams. So good for Joe Flacco. Good for the Bengals with a win last night over the Steelers. No, I don't know if many people thought it would be as entertaining of a contest as it was, but it was. And if you watch that entire game, I hope you enjoyed it. We'll also take a look around the NCAA, the college football slate outside of the USF homecoming game tomorrow night against FAU. Go USFBulls.com. Go get your tickets. Pack Ray J. I've been tweeting it out all day long. Everybody that's been posting about packing Ray J, everybody that's been posting about tickets and everything, I've been reposting and retweeting. I've been trying to do my part. Do your part as well. Bring a friend, bring a family member, spread the word. Let's pack out Raymond James for the homecoming game against FAU. Should be a good one tomorrow night. Also, what to watch this weekend off the gridiron. Premier League back in action. We got MLB playoffs. Of course, the World Series right around the corner. The Lightning with a back-to-back starting tonight. We just saw Steven Santini got called up from AHL Syracuse because Max Crozier, as we know, is going to be out for a little while. And then we're going to finish the show with an Ask Me Anything. Every Friday show is kind of turned into the last 20 minutes of asking random questions. So we'll break down the segment. We'll title it up, and then we'll go from there. But we're going to start the show today the only way we know how. We're kicking it off in a big way with our pal, Jim Lighthall. He's got the Master shirt on, ready to roll. What's going on, buddy? How are you?
Hey, Jay. How are you doing? Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too. And first and foremost, I'd be remiss if we didn't start here. Congratulations on the news that you will be taking over for our guy, Jim Lighthall, as the voice of USF football starting next season. My best joke would be like, they just didn't want to change the first name for all the intros. Yeah, we wanted to make it easier on Derek Sharp and Sam Barrington. So when they say, let's go to Jim, we didn't have to make that tough of a transition. But I joke because I love well-deserved, buddy. Nobody better than you to be able to take over for Jim Lighthall. Just take us through that process. Take us through what it means to you and working for a guy like Jim Lighthall that's been there for decades.
Yeah, Jim L to Jim L. This is the way. I mean, they didn't have to change any of the monograms on anything. I'll just slide right in. Yeah, it's been a crazy last 3 months, to be honest with you, Jay. I know Jim was kicking this around in the summer. He said in his video that he was really heavily considering it before the football season started. I had some conversations with some folks there inside the athletic department, just gave me a heads up as to what was going on. There weren't many people. I could count on one hand the number of people that knew that this was going on. It was really tough to keep it quiet over this stretch. Of course, didn't have an athletic director at that point either, and an athletic director, now CEO of athletics, Rob Higgins, was going to have to sign off on any decision that was made with that when you're turning over your football broadcast to someone new after 29 years. And obviously that has to be rubber stamped by eventually Rob Higgins, which it was. Wow, working with Jim for the last 29 years. I mean, I sat in that booth with him at then Old Tampa Stadium, renamed Houlihan Stadium, for the very first game against Western Kentucky. That was a three-man show at that point. It was Jim Lighthall, it was Mark Robinson, and it was myself. I did the pregame, the postgame, and the halftime. I was by myself. I know you know this, but our crew has grown through the years. But in the early years, it was just a three-man operation. And I just really appreciate what Jim did for me over the last 3 decades almost. We worked so closely together. He relied on me. I relied on him. He's such a good guy, Jay. You know this better than anyone. He's just a tremendous person, and he's a great person to work with. He's professional. He's kind. He's knowledgeable, and he loves the University of South Florida. And he just kind of thought that there were some other things he wanted to do in his life. And listen, you're not as old as me, and I'm not as old as him. But as we all know, Father Time is undefeated. And as you get older, you start to reevaluate some things, and there are other things that you want to do with your life. And in this business, it's almost every Saturday, it's almost every Sunday, it's almost every Friday night. It's multiple days through the week. And, if your spouse works and she's working 9 to 5, and then you have to be someplace, whether it's the USF baseball stadium or if it's Raymond James Stadium or the Ingling Center, your day starts at 5 o'clock and you don't get home until 10 or 11. And sometimes you're 2 ships passing in the night, and that's difficult. For me, my kids were born into this. My kids are 26 and 23. I've been doing this for 29 years. They haven't known any different. That between August and March, Dad is on the go all the time. And for Jim, a very similar situation with his son Ross. So you give up a lot of things, and Jim said that in his video. You miss some family gatherings and some birthdays, but we just love doing this. It's what I've wanted to do since I was 10 years old. This is all I've ever wanted to do. And now I get the opportunity to call football games on a regular basis. I've done some spring games for Jim here and there. But to call college football from Raymond James Stadium is literally a dream come true for me. And to handle both football and basketball, I can't imagine doing anything else with my life.
That's great, buddy. And I'm glad that you're going to be the voice going forward. And you'll be the voice to crack that mic at the new stadium, man. I cannot wait for that. I mean, just looking at the progress, Jim, before we get to the team this year, I mean, just in the last 36 months to see the progress and everything coming along. And, obviously the play on the field certainly helps, but you get Alex Golishin, you win a couple of bowl games, you solidify your CEO of athletics with Rob Higgins. I've told people, I've been saying this for years, but especially right now, now's the time to get on with USF athletics. If you're not already on the bandwagon, Jim, because man, and I know Rob doesn't want to talk about, potential, but I mean, there's an ascension going on with the green and gold right now, and if people out there don't realize it, man, it's not too late. Get on the bus, man, because big things are happening for South Florida.
You're right, and with Rob Higgins at the helm now, I think we certainly have the right person to take over from Michael Kelly and to get this program to where it needs to be. I mean, I think you're right. This school is right on the cusp of going absolutely nuclear around the country. That will probably happen if and when they get into a new conference, Jay. And that's the only time I will use the word potential, is that this team is potentially going into a new conference, right? Because Rob knows it. He hears the talk around town. He hears the talk internally, externally, that's the only thing that this university lacks, is getting into a P4 conference. And once that happens, watch out. You've got the media market. You've got the fan base. You have everything in place. You've got the head coach right now. I don't know if we'll be saying that a year from now, because Alex Golesh might be gone. There's a lot of head coaching vacancies available, really good ones, and he's a great candidate. But he's our guy right now. And if he leaves, that's because he did special things here, and I've got no problem with that. They're on the midst of a dream season here. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. But you're right. There's so many good things with this university, with the enrollment, with the media market, with the AAU status, and the fact that the leadership has gone all in on athletics, Jay. I'm not just saying that they're buying in. They have pushed all the chips to the middle of the table. They're going all in, because this is what schools do. When they go all in on athletics, everything else benefits from that. Your enrollment, your endowment, your booster giving, it's all cyclical. It all happens because athletics takes off, and we are, if we're not there yet, I think we're right there. And Brian Hodson said this in his first news conference yesterday. He said the word culture is thrown around a lot, and it is. But the culture has changed under Alex Golesh. We thought we had a good hire in Jeff Scott. Didn't work out. You take a chance on an assistant, probably wasn't the first choice for the administration at the time, but it ends up being the best choice. Amir Abdul-Rahim wasn't the first choice for basketball coach either, and look the way that turned out. Yeah,
you mentioned Brian Hodson and the support from the school when it comes to athletics. And I think it was Will Weatherford. And you were there. You ran the press conference. And they were talking about being all in for athletics. And as somebody that covers sports here in the Tampa Bay area, and, it grinds my gears a little bit. And I know Rob Higgins feels the same way, of like, oh, this little engine that could. No, man, we're a power. We're a major market in this country. It's about time we start acting like it. And then when that happens, man, the sky's the limit for South Florida. And we're seeing that this year with this team, Jim. I mean, with Byram healthy, Golesh now in year 3. You look at what Schuler and Mac Harris are doing on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, man, this is they have a chance to really do something special. They do a great job of not putting the cart before the horse here, Jim. They got to take care of business against FAU, but they know what lies ahead with matchups against Memphis and Navy and possibly beyond. What's your take so far on what you've seen from the Bulls, and kind of forecasting on what we're going to see over the next 14 to 21 days?
Well, let's go back a little bit, Jay, and let's look at the recruiting classes that Alex Golesh has brought in. Best recruiting classes in the American, best recruiting classes in the group of 5. And now, after he's done that for 2 or 3 years, we're starting to see those kids. We're starting to see the better talent. And those kids are redshirt sophomores, they're juniors, plus the transfers that he brought in, which were amazing transfer portal classes. Now we're seeing proof of purchase. Now we're seeing the receipts from all the hard work that he did. And it's no coincidence that they're better than everyone else in the league. I'll say it right now. I think they're better talent-wise than Memphis. I think they're better than Navy. They doggone proved that they're better than North Texas a week ago. So if you're in the midst of a dream season, there is certainly the possibility that you can run the table here the rest of the way. You can get yourself into a conference title game. Here's the thing that no one's talking about. Nobody's talking about Tulane anymore, which is a team that was dynamite the last couple of years. A lot of talk about them as being one of the favorites in this league at the start of the season. And, of course, the Bulls stole all the spotlight in the entire group of 5 at the start of the year with their non-conference schedule. And then Memphis goes and beats Arkansas. Don't get me started on how everyone thinks that's a great win, because I don't really think it's that great of a win. Arkansas was at the 10-yard line, about ready to punch it in to beat them at Memphis. And Arkansas has since fired their coach. It's a nice win. It's not a great win. But then Memphis became the darling for a while. And I think Tulane is just sitting back going, you know what? Talk about everybody else. Don't talk about us, because they're a team that beat Duke. They're a team that beat Northwestern. I think that's going to be the clash at the end of the season. I think it's going to be South Florida and Tulane. Winner of that game will get themselves into the playoff. And somebody's got to get there. And it's going to come from the American. So I don't see why it's not South Florida. They've got the best talent. They've got the best quarterback in the league. The guy's dynamic. Byron Brown can do so many different things. And now when we're starting to see these recruiting classes come to fruition, just look at the freshmen that they've got contributing right now, Jay. Jeremiah Koger was a name nobody even knew.
Right.
When toe hit leather at the start of the season, he might be the best receiver at 6'3", 210 pounds. This is the kind of kid that excels at power programs. And he's starting to excel here. And now with him and Singleton and Chaz Nimrod, you have 3 legit wide receivers that can catch balls across the middle because they're big kids, can go deep because they have speed, and gives Byron Brown way more weapons. When you think about a year ago, he had Sean Atkins and a handful of guys here and there. But now, good luck trying to stop this offense. I mean, it is loaded and it is rolling to the point of 60 points per game for the last 3 games.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I mentioned earlier this week, I said there's been a lot of good things, but they got to clean things up too, right, Jim?
Yes.
I mean, that's the thing going forward. As much as we love 63 points, but the 3 turnovers in the first half, some of the defensive, giving up 30 points to North Tech. These obviously going back a couple weeks ago, and it's like, all right, you won the game. That's my big thing of seeing this week. I'm glad they're playing FAU this week and not Memphis this week, because I feel like this is a good week to get right by playing the game the right way. If you don't score 60 again, fine. If you only score 40, but win 40-10, right? Win 40-14. Give me something where it's a complete game where if they get their points, they get their points, but no mental mistakes. Let's clean this thing up and get ready for a big clash next weekend against Memphis.
Yeah, they're starting to get back to normal in the penalty category, which was a real problem for them earlier in the year. I think they're starting to get that cleaned up. Now it's the turnovers. They've had 7 in the last couple of games. I think they'll get that squared away. Alex Goller said at his news conference on Tuesday, he said the elite teams get better as the season goes on, and I think they are getting better. Yes, they still have a problem here or there. Hopefully those things will get cleaned up. I think they will get cleaned up against FAU, but because the offense is so good, they can hide some of those things. Right. Like you were just talking about, Jay. You can survive 3 turnovers or 4 turnovers because they're going to score 45 or 50 points, and if they give up 30, whatever, you're still going to win the game. I'm with you. I'd like to see the defense get a little more stingy. I'd like to see the front 4 getting a little more pressure, and they don't have to bring as much pressure with the linebackers. Mac Harris has been dynamite preseason or midseason All-American list now, and Jalen Schuler is dynamite. But listen, every team has little things here and there that the opposition tries to exploit. USF's no different in that regard. They're not perfect, and they still haven't played their perfect game yet this year.
No doubt about it. And Jim, I know you're on short time, and I appreciate it. Before I let you go, I got to ask, big basketball fan.
Yeah.
I feel like Coach Brian Hodgson has been here for 5 years already. It's amazing, man. And again, we talked about this last time you were here. I'm just glad that he embraced the Amir stuff, right? Like, it's a particular situation, man. And you can be respectful and kind of just like put it in the past, but Brian's come aboard and he's like, I'm building on that. He's with us. He's always going to be with us. And I just feel like, man, people are looking around and going, number 2 preseason in the conference. Like, they're giving him a lot of respect. We saw a lot of what these guys have been doing in the offseason. Like, the Yingling Center is going to be rocking this fall and this winter with the men's and women's basketball.
Yeah, a couple things real quick. First of all, to the Amir stuff. The exhibition game on the 24th is the 1-year anniversary of Amir's death. So that will be a very emotional night. Still fresh in everybody's mind that dealt with that. So that'll be a tough night. Also going to Kennesaw will be a tough night when the Love wins. That'll be the first of the 2-game series between the 2 teams. But you're right. He's embraced it. And Jay, coaches that have coached at South Florida, assistant coaches that coach with Amir, and opposing coaches that I have talked with all said, when you watched Amir and coached with him or coached against him, you knew how elite he was right away. He was that good.
Mm-hmm.
And for Brian Hodgson to not see that that would be a knock on him to not be able to see that.
Right.
But he does see that, and he's a very going to be an elite coach as well if he's not there already. And he picks up on those things that Amir was doing. So he should be following along with all that stuff. As for the team itself, I was at the scrimmage on Sunday morning. They scrimmaged for about 3 hours. Jay, they are deep. They are talented. I don't know how he's going to get minutes for everybody because even his freshmen are really, really good. The Gavin Hightower kid, the freshman point guard out of L.A. that played at Sierra Canyon with all of LeBron's kids. Nobody's talking about him. He was dynamite. I don't know how he's going to find the minutes. I don't know if he's going to try and redshirt some of these kids because you know the climate nowadays. If kids don't play, they're looking to leave. And he's got a lot of freshmen on that team that might have to sit and wait, but they're so good. I don't know how you sit them. So it's a great problem to have. I think they're going to be really, really good. And I'll tell you this, if you don't go to the Yuengling Center, which is your only opportunity to watch high-level basketball in this market, shame on you. They're going to be a ton of fun. It's going to be a lot of layups and dunks and three-point shots because he will get after guys for not shooting threes. They all have a green light. It's going to be a ton of fun this year.
Love it, man. The great Jim Lighthall. Man, Jim, thank you so much again for your time. Congratulations, man. I know you got a busy day today. I'll see you tomorrow night at Raymond James Stadium. We've been telling everybody, pack Ray J, do your part to get out there. Go usfbulls.com. Go get your tickets. Support our Bulls, man. It's a dream season, as Jim Lighthall would say, the number 19 team in the country. Why stop there, man? Why stop there? Let's keep climbing the ranks. Jim, congrats. Thank you again, buddy. I'll see you tomorrow night.
Always a pleasure, Jay. Thank you. Hey, I'm pumped for homecoming, class of 90 right here. I'll be right there.
Sounds good, my brother. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, buddy. The great Jim Lighthall, man. Listen, when we had that discussion with the Lightning and people said, what did you think about Steven Stamkos and Victor Hedman taking over for Steven Stamkos? And I was like, there's really nobody else that I would think would be a better person for that. It's the same thing here with USF, man. It really is. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Jim Lauk, who's done such a great job over the years, and as Robert Cochran said, such a legend. Jim Lighthall, really a good guy. No doubt about it, man. And the 2 or 3 years that I did the pre and post game with them and Derek Sharp, some of the most fun times I've had in my career. No doubt about it. Let's get to some of these comments. Ain't no slack in my Mac. TGIF, Benny in the house. I'm fine. David Terry with the super chat. Let's give it up for DT, one of the JR's Wrecking Crew founding fathers. We appreciate you, DT. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Guys, every super chat helps, man. That's how we're going to keep this train rolling. Happy Friday to JR's Wrecking Crew and, of course, the star of the show, Jar Recher. I knew what you meant. Janet Best in the house as well. Dolan, R.I.P. Ace Frehley. Yeah, man. Very, very sad. Good morning to Eddie Harada and Eddie with the $2 super chat. Go Kane, Sarjay. You're good, man. Hey, listen, I've been high on them all year long, man. I think they've really impressed me as the year has gone by. Any concern with Levante David not practicing back-to-back days? Our guy, Eric Moreno. We'll get to that. Shout out to Derek Sharpsbird, Sharpie Sharp. And then what's up, Jay Bird, our guy, Bart Hill. Okay, so let's talk some Buccaneer stuff right now. Any concern, our guy Eric Moreno, with LVD not practicing back-to-back days? No. Not at all. And here's the reason why. This is probably it for Levante David. I think this is probably the last year for him. He's been signing these one-year deals. I feel like with the way that the season is going, I think this is kind of the one you want to go out on, right? You're practicing, you're battling, you love playing with your teammates, ending off on a high note, right? Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this was it for him. Now, I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm just, happy with an incredible career for Levante David. But no, I'm not concerned. Not concerned with him at all. Not practicing back-to-back days because, listen, this is a guy that doesn't need to. He's got a little bang, bumps and bruises, and you saw the injury report yesterday. Excuse me. Let me see if I can pull it up from yesterday. Well, it'll come out later on today too. But the injury report yesterday, I mean, listen, he just, he's going to be out. It's going to see some random stuff. It's going to be a hip. It's going to be a leg. It's going to be an ankle. Like, I'm not worried about it. I'm not. Levante's going to be fine, and he'll be ready this weekend or this Monday night against the – and Dolan says it, not worried about Levante. Todd's giving him all the rest he needs. He'll be ready on Monday. Yeah, as long as he gets out there and he's practicing tomorrow, I think he'll be good. But Mike Evans, who was practicing yesterday, he's off today, but it's a maintenance day, which is a big positive sign for him. We're not going to see Bucky Irving. We're not going to see Chris Godwin. We're not going to see Josh Williams, but back practicing again today, and we have it here. Should we bring it up here? I'm going to show you guys from our pals at Pewter Reports, because we love our friends at Pewter Report. There we go. Bang. So there's the stuff today. Zion McCollum, Benjamin Morrison, and Michael Jordan practiced today. Riley Dixon returned after a personal day. No Mike Evans. Maintenance day from what Rick Stroud from the Tampa Bay Times told us. No Levante David or Luke Haggard. Maintenance day for Evans. There's the team. You see Desmond Watson there too, which was good. You see Jamel Dean there. Guys are fresh and funky. It's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing. And it's going to be a hell of a game on Monday night against the Detroit Lions. I mean, I look at this team, and if you guys want to, again, I want to hear from you. Questions, comments, concerns, leave them there at the bottom of the screen. If you guys want to join in via the video chat, there is the link, StreamYard.com/WNZDJ7RTP9. Just click on that link in the chat. If you want to join with us, come on and join the show. What's up with our guy Honest Hammer? Let Levante rest. I love it. Lamar McCartney saying he's sick of Levante is all I need to hear. Hey, he's fine. I think he'll be fine. Emeka working on the side is crazy already. We know that it's not as severe from what the Buccaneers are saying. Mike Evans, he missed 3 games, so hopefully it's not, because remember, he was on the sidelines. When Mike got hurt, he went right off. Right off. He knew the deal. He's also experienced that a little bit more too. Jay, need some swag before Thanksgiving, going to Mexico. I want to represent your show over there, LFG. Let's get it done. I'm talking, actually, I got a meeting with the guy today, so we're focused on that. Should have been done a couple of weeks ago, but we'll work on it. No doubt. Joseph Brennan, go Bulls, beat the Owls. And then Eddie Harada. Jay, I'm not going to lie. I'm anxious to see when you drop that Baker photo. It'll be legendary, bro. Baker Nears. I got that, man. It's going to be, I'm going to put that with the conversation that we have with Matt Matera with the video. I'm going to make a, what do they call it? A carousel on Instagram. So I'm going to put that on there, but I'm going to post it on all the social media platforms, and I'll tag you on that for sure. That's one of the things I'm doing today. I've had practice the last couple of days, but that's definitely something that I'll be working on here. Adam Cartwright in the house. What's up, Jay? Trap game this week. Bulls got to take care of business before moving on to Memphis. I don't necessarily know if I believe in trap games. The people have kind of been getting rid of that type of thing now. And when you're facing a team like FAU, it's still a state rival. You still got to go out there and play. If they don't perform to the best of their ability, I don't necessarily think that like they were looking past them. They know it's a 1 week type of thing. They didn't get too high. They didn't get too low. I mean, look, they won 2 games in the beginning of the season. Nobody thought they were going to win. So even though, like, I don't think they're a rival like other teams, even though FAU is really trying to make it seem like, oh, we're the rivals. Like, no, it's a state rival, but it's not like a big time, like, blood feud rival like we see in other sports. There's still enough kind of, wires intertwined where they're not just going to be like, oh, this isn't like St. Mary's School for the Blind A&M college, right? It's still FAU. It's still a conference opponent. I think that Alex Gold will have these guys ready. So I'm not looking at them as a trap game at all. I think they'll be ready to go. If you want to call in, Eric, give us a shout, man. The link there is in the chat. Again, questions, comments, concerns, put them there on the screen. I'm excited to see what happens on Monday night with this Buccaneers team when they have a lot of these defensive players back. We know that Kalaji Kancey's out for the year. We obviously didn't see any David Walker, but I think this is one of those games where the Buccaneers are maybe ripe for the picking, right? You see this a lot in sports. You're 5-1. You're the bee's knees. Everybody's talking about you. Now you got a big big time road matchup against the team that has been one of the best in football the last couple of years. And if the Buccaneers go into Detroit on Monday night and they end up losing that game, I mean, it'll suck. People will be mad, but it wouldn't be surprising, right? We know what Detroit's all about with Coach Dan Campbell. We know that it's going to be a battle. This isn't going to be the faint of heart. But if the Buccaneers come out of that game and they're 5-2, we'll be sitting here Tuesday and Wednesday, maybe ruining some of the mistakes or some of the missed opportunities. But, the sky's not going to be falling after that, right? And we'll knock on wood because you just never know. But again, this is an opportunity for them to be able to go out and prove to everybody that they're built different. They're built different if you can go out and you can win this game, because it's not an easy place to win. And when you're facing a Jared Goff, who's one of the best, he's just a veteran quarterback. He knows what it takes to win. He knows what winning football looks like. They're going to run the football. And I truly believe, and we said this with Ian on Monday when he joined us, and also on Wednesday when we had the Beckles and Recher podcast, running the football in this game for the Detroit Lions is paramount, because they're going to run it on first, they're going to run it on second, and if they get a chance, they're going to run it on third. They're going to run, and they're going to run some more. That's just how they're built. And as much as we may think that it could be a shootout, you don't know how these games are. Sometimes it's a defensive battle. Sometimes, it is a shootout. It's a 35-31 thing. But sometimes it could be, a contest that's by one score and it's a 17-14 matchup. We never know. A lot of people thinking offense, Monday Night Football. We want to see Goff against Baker, and the defensive players kind of take that to heart. That's the beauty about sports. You never know what's going to happen. That's why they go out there and play the game. If you guys want to contribute, again, questions, comments, concerns, type them there at the bottom of the screen. If you want to join via the video chat, you can go on your laptop or on your phone, StreamYard.com/WNZDJ7RTP9, like our guy, Eric Moreno, E-Money in the house. What's up, buddy? How are you?
How you doing, Jay?
I'm good, buddy. What do you got for us?
I think 27-24. Mike Evans, 120 yards, 10 catches, and 2 tutties.
Damn, 10 catches and 2 touchdowns for Mike Evans.
I mean, he's going to go big. I mean, Amik Robertson, one-on-one, and then, I don't know the other safety, Kirby Joseph. I don't know if he's going to play. He's, they say he was, really wobbling off, and then, he was fine. So it's probably adrenaline. So that's a big loss. He's got like 3 picks this year. So
no doubt about it. Not worried about the Evans injury at all?
Nah. I mean, I'm more worried about LVD. I'm like, I know he's a vet, so it's, extra day this week. I'm like, like with Jason Pierre-Paul, I think he had that knee injury. He didn't practice all week. He's like, oh, I'm good. That way, he's more rested. So he's 30, he's in his 13th year. So he doesn't really need to practice, but, at least get something in tomorrow.
No doubt about it. I appreciate the phone call, man. Have a good weekend. Go Bucs.
Go Bucs.
Yes, sir. The great Eric Moreno, E-Money, on the program with us. Yeah, man. A lot of people are going to be looking at Mike Evans and what he's going to do in his first game back. And we haven't heard officially that he's going to be back, but you would think with him out there practicing that there'd be a really, really good chance if he was going to have an opportunity to go out there and do his thing. So, yeah, I got all the faith in the world that if Mike Evans is out there, he's ready to roll and going to contribute in a big way. I saw something yesterday about Servassier Dennis, and ironically enough, I just picked him up on my fantasy football team, and I changed my name to Pastor Servassier. It was Take Me to Bucky's because I have Bucky Irving. I try not to have too many Buccaneers on my team, but I do have Bucky Irving, Mike Evans, Chase McLaughlin, and Servassier Dennis. You can't have I try not to have too many. But yeah, I picked up Servassier because he's balling. We've been talking a lot about Servassier, the last 2 years of, wow, the pass coverage, blah, 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 blah. But man, it's pretty crazy to me how it has not really come to fruition when it comes to how well he's played in pass coverage, but how good he is at blitzing and stopping the run. So it's almost like he's a bigger version of KJ Britt and kind of what we saw from the peak of a guy like Devin White, but obviously he doesn't overrun plays like Devin did. And Devin's had a pretty good season with the Raiders, so we want to show him some love too. But Servassier Dennis is a guy that's really contributed, kind of the unsung hero. He's been out there. He's been available. We know what he was dealing with last year with that shoulder injury. But as far as the pass coverage and the linebacker that can help with that, it really wasn't him. Like, it hasn't been him. So you're going to have to make up for that in other ways. And I'm sure Todd Bowles and the defensive staff are working on that as we speak, because a lot of the stuff over the middle, those intermediate passes, like that's going to open everything up. You got to think about it with all the levels. Running the football with David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, the play action pass for Jared Goff where you roll him out and he connects on those short to intermediate passes to whether it's a Amon-Ra St. Brown, whether it's a Laporta, whether it's a Jameson Williams before you try to take the top off the defense with him. Like, there's just so many, or, again, throwing the ball to the running back side of the backfield. And then, of course, the passes down the field with Jameson Williams. And, Amon-Ra is one of the best players in the league too. So defensively, it's going to be a lot for the Buccaneers to handle, trying to keep everything in front, but it's going to come down to stopping the run and trying to turn Jared Goff one-dimensional. Because, again, I've been saying this all week. He has to constantly prove now. We come up with these narratives in sports, right? We try to find out, and I think it's like anything in life, and people hate labels, right? But I think we label things and people because we kind of want to know what they are and who they are. I don't know if it's necessarily a bad thing. I just think that's kind of the nature of the beast, right? You want to go out there and you want to know what somebody's all about. Now, when you look at somebody like Jared Goff, right now his label is a pretty good system quarterback that when he's running the offense on all, and it's operating on all cylinders, they can really beat anybody. But when this team gets behind, that's when he struggles. When people know that he's passing, that's a problem. And that's one of the stigmas. That's one of the labels that he's going to have to overcome. We've seen that from Baker Mayfield. Ahead, behind, he can do whatever it takes to win. We haven't seen that from Jared Goff. Now, this is an opportunity for him to be able to show that. And just because a guy's labeled like that now doesn't mean that it's going to stick with you your entire career. You could be a postseason failure. You could be a guy that can't hit lefties. You're a guy that can't score in overtime. Like, there's just so many different things in sports that we try to label teams and label players, but that's not the end-all, be-all. So Jared Goff has an opportunity to rewrite the narrative, but as of right now, yes, it's great that he's found a home with the Detroit Lions, but if his career ended now, he'll be known as the guy that couldn't get the job done with the Rams, and they traded him, and Matthew Stafford did, and he's the guy that led Detroit to prominence, but, successful football is one thing. Winning a Super Bowl is completely different. Jacobian, can I get a screw the Saints? Eddie Harada's got you there, right there. Is this Eddie right here on the video chat too? Eddie, is that you?
Lions, but if his career ended now, he'll be known as the guy that couldn't get the
Eddie,
job
you got to
done.
turn me off so I can hear you.
Matthew Stafford did. He's the guy that led Detroit to prominence, but
Eddie's listening back.
Successful football.
Sorry, Eddie. We got to kick you. We got to get you back. Eddie, you got to call back in. I try to get you on, Eddie, but you can't be listening to the show. You got to sign off of the YouTube because then you're going to have it like re-going or replaying through the speakers. So click it again, sign back on the show again, brother. But just make sure you turn off the YouTube feed and just click on the link in the chat there. But yeah, Baker Mayfield's rewritten the narrative. You're allowed to rewrite the narrative in sports, but it's up to you. Like, you got to go out there and do it. I saw something yesterday about, it was that show. Have you seen that thing? It was like Special Forces. It's on NFL. It was on on Fox, like Special Forces. You go out there and you train with the Special Forces. And Johnny Manziel was one of those guys that actually went out there and did it. And he was so transparent and honest about his narrative and how he went from just being a nobody to a superstar so quick, and he didn't know how to handle the fame. And it was just incredibly honest and transparent. And he's talking about how in the last decade, he's been just trying to find himself and do all these different things. And man, he was spot on, right? Things happen, man. Remember how crazy Mike Tyson's life and his career was, and then people didn't want to touch that guy. And then he goes to WWE, and then he becomes like this cult hero with this pop culture hero, and he's in a Hangover. Like, it's just, things change, man. Adam says, couldn't you say that Goff did more in Detroit than Stafford ever did, or does Campbell get that credit? It's a great point. I think it's Campbell, but it's everybody, right? I think there's a much better team around Jared Goff than there was Matthew Stafford. Ironically enough, the best player that either guy has ever played with was Calvin Johnson. But outside of that, like, the running attack wasn't the same as it is right now. They didn't build through the lines as they did right now. They weren't competing for, division titles every single year where you looked at them like, are they a Super Bowl contender? They're on the short list. I don't know how many times you really said that with Stafford. They were a good team. They battled, right? But it wasn't the same. It wasn't the same. And that's why it was so dramatic a couple of years ago, why everybody was rocking. You're hosting that playoff game. Eminem is there. Like, it's just a different ball game. All right, let's try Eddie. What's going on, buddy?
What's going on, Jay? How y'all doing today?
I'm good, man. Thank you for chiming in. What do you got for us
Yes,
today?
sir. Listen, man, I'm just here to say go Canes, go Bucs Monday night, man. Let's all have a good weekend, man. Stay blessed.
Eddie, appreciate you, man. Stay blessed.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a good one, all right?
You too, buddy. Thank you, Eddie. Eddie Harada in the house. Really, really good stuff, man. Thank you so much. Yeah, we're now I got to pull for the Canes a little bit because the guy Eddie is. As long as it's not affecting USF, Eddie, I got you, pal. But Adam, that's a good question, buddy. It really is when you're talking about Detroit and their success, and just think about how many good players that they've had. No, it's just how many good players are on that team right now, even with all the injuries. And I don't want to hear people. We have this discussion way too much, and we talked about this yesterday with Dr. Rodriguez for the EverHealth injury report. This is part of football. This is part of football where every single day, every single week, the topic of injuries it's just part of it. It's part of the whole discussion. That's what it is. And it's not something that's ever going to go away. And we had that discussion with Doc yesterday about, like, why is it still like this? I don't know, man. Guys are getting bigger. Guys are getting faster. Guys are getting stronger. They're doing more to try to prevent injuries. But at the end of the day, they're still happening. It's a tough sport. And there's mitigating factors, of course, like it's a car crash to start every play. You got guys that are playing on turf, right? Some guys, maybe they don't take care of their body as much, Eddie, appreciate you, buddy. And shout out to our guy, Nathan Elliott from South Carolina. You going to the hotel, buddy? How many yards per game does Mike Evans need to get 1,000 on the season? Let's do the math right now. Mike Evans, as we speak, is at 140 yards. He needs 860. 860. The Bucs have played 6 games. They have 11 games left. So, if we do our math, 860 divided by 11, he needs 78 yards per game. 78 yards per game over these last 11 to be able to get 1,000 once again. And listen, for him, we know Mike can go off and he can have those games where it's 150, 160, 170. Like, I think he needs a couple of those. Because remember, he's 32 years old. Coming back from this hamstring injury. And as much as we want to say, oh, they're going to ease him into it, they didn't ease Chris Godwin into it. Now that I say that, I mean, Chris Godwin didn't ease him into it. He played all those snaps, and then after that, it wasn't as much, and now we see that he's hurt again. So maybe they're a little bit more cautious with Mike because it's not just him that's out, right? We know Emeka Ibuka's out and Jalen McMillan and Bucky Irving. So the Buccaneers have to be smart with their players here. I just hope he's healthy, and I hope he gets it. I really do. 78 yards per game. 78.1 over the last 11 games because he needs 860. Working the work. Eddie says he won't struggle to get that trust. I hope so, buddy. I really do. I mean, for him, and a night like tonight when you're dealing with on Monday night with all those injuries to the secondary, I think you got to get Mike involved early and often. Early and often. Take advantage of everything that's going on with this team when we're talking about Detroit and their injuries. The only way that those become a factor is if you exploit those weaknesses. And while teams have tried to do that against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, it's been tough because of the depth. The depth has been incredible with this team. So many different people have contributed to a victory this season. And now you're looking at the defense for the Bucs, and this is just based on who was practicing today. I mean, you're kind of looking at maybe all of those secondary guys being healthy. You're looking at a Jamel Dean playing across from Zion McCollum, and then, you got Jacob Parrish in the slot, and then Benjamin Morrison can come through. That's 4 guys right there. And we're not even talking about Tyke Smith and Antoine Winfield Jr. I love how that partnership looks and how it continues to grow. That's 6 guys right there. Servassier Dennis, I mentioned him with the 7th. And then Levante David, I'm sure he'll be in there with 8. We see Elijah Roberts getting even better with 9. Hassan Reddick, 10. Yaya Diaby, 11. Vita Vea, 12. Right? Greg Gaines has really been busting his ass out there, 13. Logan Hall is a big body as well. The ball going off his big old head, that helped Levante David come away with the interception in Seattle. That's 14 good defenders right there. 14. And as far as we know, healthy right now. We need that. Many guys, because listen, as much as people say you're getting over the hump when it comes to the health, it's not like that, man. Keep that in perspective when you say things like that. When you say, when we get healthy, sometimes you never do. Sometimes you lose 1 guy, or sometimes you get 2 guys back and you lose 3. Honest Hammer, our guy. I think we can curb Mike's role a bit now that Tez can be a deep threat. Mike needs those 5-yard slants and let him run. He doesn't have to be the deep guy anymore. It might help him get to 1,000. Yes and no. And this is the reason why I disagree with you. When you see that with Mike and he does all those short passes, that's good for his catches. But for his yards, you'd rather have him run down the field more. Because Mike at times can go, when he gets his big games, it's not usually 12. It's not like an Amon-Ra St. Brown where it's 12 for 140, right? Mike's is like a 6 for 138 and a touchdown. He gets those long passes. And here's the thing. If he has a lot of those short slants, he's 32. You don't want him taking hits because on those long passes, you're not taking a bunch of hits. Slants almost every time. If you're going into the field, you're taking a hit if you don't get down. So there's I can understand what you're saying, but there's kind of the both sides of that. But when you have a guy like Tej Johnson in there, I think it opens it up for everybody. So maybe it's not the deep threat that he has to be that guy. And I don't know if he ever was because, Emeka can do that. We saw that earlier this year. We know that Jalen McMillan has that ability as well. And we've seen this team with the real wheel route, Bucky down the left sideline. So when you look at that option, he doesn't have to be it, but I don't know if he's really had to be it the last year or 2 on this team. Eddie, we as Fins fans been saying that for years about injuries. Yeah, and I think, and I saw this story the other day, it looks like there's going to be a lot more trades around the deadline, which is good. I saw Jalen Phillips the other day could possibly be traded. I wish we saw more trades like that. I wish we saw more action at the trade deadline. I wish we saw more player movement. I wish we saw multiplayer movement because just, it's just not the same. It's not the same in football. And it's weird because you would think you would want to do that and want to kind of invoke more excitement with this team. But for some reason, that's just part of it that's missed. What other games to keep an eye on this weekend? Let's take a look at them right now. Again, we spoke about the game last night. Cincinnati 33 over the Steelers 31. Joe Flacco and Aaron Rodgers turning back the clock. Game at Wembley in London. The Rams and the Jaguars. That's low-key going to be a good game. It's a pseudo home game for Jacksonville. They play so many freaking games in England. But a good matchup there. Liam Cohen's done a really nice job in year 1 with the Jags. We know the Rams, one of the most, the best coached teams in the league. Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford and the crew. Chicago and New Orleans. This was a playoff game years ago, wasn't it? Now you have the lowly New Orleans Saints going into Soldier Field in Illinois against the Chicago Bears. The Bears are 4.5-point favorite there. It's so quickly, things change so fast in the National Football League. What happens in this game? Miami travels to Cleveland to take on the Browns. Both of these teams are 1-5. I feel like we are just inching closer and closer to both of these things happening. Mike McDaniel getting fired in Miami and Shedeur Sanders being the starting quarterback for the Browns. It's going to happen. Like, it's only a matter of time before Shedeur takes over. And the Browns are a 2.5-point favorite here. Dillon Gabriel will be the starter. And it is pretty cool because we know of the relationship with Dillon Gabriel and Tua Tagovailoa. So really, really good. You know, that's pretty cool. Two lefties going at it, but two tough football teams. And I wouldn't be surprised if either one of those changes have been made on Monday. We'll talk college in a second, but I was wondering at some point which guy was going to lose his job first. Was it going to be Billy Napier or was it going to be Mike McDaniel? For all the talk of like, they're talking to, you know, influential boosters and all these different guys could possibly be filling in for Billy. If you remember, I said it weeks ago, October 20th was the day. October 20th was the day, and that's the Monday coming up, that I felt like I was going to crack the microphone and tell you guys that Billy Napier was no longer the head coach of the Florida Gators. We'll see if it happens. Patriots and Titans. Mike Vrabel goes up against his old team. The Pats coming off that big win. They're 4-2. They're riding high. And look at Drake May, man. 10 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, really taking care of the football. This could be a wild card team. And I love that the New England Patriots are 3-0 on the road. That says a lot about a young football team and a young quarterback. Stephon Diggs already has 32 catches on the season. They're utilizing him in a big way. AFC West matchup, and a lot of people are back on the train for the Kansas City Chiefs. They're now 3-3. They host the 2-4 Raiders. This should be one of those games where you look at the Chiefs and say, all right, time to go on a roll here. Let's go on a run. They're 12.5-point favorites. Like, that is huge, man. And that's a divisional matchup too. And I think Pete Carroll and the Raiders, it is going in the wrong direction. Very intrigued about this game at 1:00 up at US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis between the Vikings that are sitting at 3-2 against the Eagles at 4-2. We've been talking about this all week with the Eagles, guys. Like, I just don't understand why it's so difficult for them to just be happy, to get along, to make this work, to get people involved. Like, you listen to who was it the other day? It was Howard Eskin. I think he was on with Dan Cilio, who used to be over on WDAE, and he's talking about the best quarterback on the roster is Tanner McKee. Like, are you drunk? Like, people in big markets, man, they just say whatever the hell they want just so that they can get people to a mission accomplished, Howard. I'm talking about that shit right now, but I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing. It's just so strange to me how the Eagles, again, could look like world beaters during games and during stretches of the season. And then all of a sudden, like, they just come back down to earth. And it's not like they don't play well or they're just missing or they're slightly off like we see with Kansas City. They look like they can't stand each other. They're trying to run Nick Sirianni out of town. Like, Philly is, I don't know if, I mean, the market is one thing, but I just feel like with this team in particular, it's not the same, man. Philly's just the entire thing is jacked up right now. The Flyers, they're not anywhere close. The Phillies get bounced out in the playoffs by the Dodgers. A lot of people were thinking, myself included, that they had everything to be able to be the team that took them out. Then you look at what is going on with the Sixers with all the injuries. Oh, we got Embiid and Paul George and Tyrese Maxey. Like, Maxey's the only guy that I trust is going to stay healthy. And then you have the Eagles, the defending Super Bowl champions, but there's been like zero honeymoon period whatsoever. There's no honeymoon period with those guys. It's pretty wild. Panthers and Jets. Am I going to do this? I feel like I'm going to do this. Ah, man, this is so funny. This is so funny. All right, so I was thinking about this earlier today. I didn't know if I wanted to say it, but I think the Jets, and this is for my guy Jake Asman. The Jake Asman Show, incredible podcast talking all things Jets. We've had him here on the show before. He's up and he's on ESPN New York. He's always talking about the Jets, the absolute dumpster fire that is the Jets, and what the hell's going on with Aaron Glenn in year one, and the progress and then the regression of a guy like Justin Fields. You got Breece Hall. I know Garrett Wilson is banged up, but you still got Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams. The Jets will get their first win this weekend against the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers are 0-3 on the road. They had a nice win last week, but they're a young football team. They're up and down. I just feel like the time is right. 0-6 just doesn't look right. And the Jets, I'm throwing them a bone. I am throwing the Jets a bone. They're going to win this weekend. Go tell Matt Matera. Go tell Jake Asman. Go tell Aaron Jacobson and Tom Krasnicki. They're 1.5-point underdogs at home. So that means even Vegas thinks that the Jets have a chance to win this one. So I'm going to go straight up. The Jets win this game against the Carolina Panthers. They help out our Buccaneers. They get their first win of the season to improve to 1-6 on the season. We will go from there. So the Jets win. There you go. Jets win. Jets win. Jets win. There you go. Robert Cochran, what do you got? Why are you telling people that? Why are you asking if I'm okay?
Because on in my defense, on the YouTube, it said it was scheduled for like 9:15 in the morning.
What the hell?
And I'm like, it's an hour past.
Oh man, what's going on, buddy? What do you got going on this weekend?
Just going to the Thunder last preseason game tonight. Watching USF dismantle FAU tomorrow.
I love it.
And then getting ready for Tuesday.
Nice.
Game 1, when we get to boo KD out of the building.
And you get the banner raised, you get the rings and everything. That'll be fun, my brother. What's the score prediction for USF tomorrow night?
I think we easily cover the 24.5.
Okay.
I think we win by like 5 touchdowns.
Damn.
I don't think it. I don't know if you've been paying attention, but FAU isn't that good.
I'm going to go like 50-14. How about that? I like that one. Robert, have a great weekend, man. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, brother. Go Bulls.
Go Bulls is right. Robert Cochran in the house. I was like, what the hell, man? Everything's good. Right? Look at Benny. Robert showing the guns, man. He's all about it, buddy. I love that. David, we'll get to that, David. We'll get to that. But yes, you heard it here first. Go tell Aaron Jacobson. Go tell T-Kraz. Tell T-Kraz today, 3 o'clock on the drive on WDAE. If he's talking about the NFL, you tell him that his good pal Jay Recher says that the Jets are going to pick up their first win this weekend against the Carolina Panthers. If they lose by 40, it is what it is. Colton Chargers, 405 from SoFi Stadium in Englewood. This is going to be a good one. I feel bad for the Chargers, man. They just can't get any tackles healthy. I mean, Rashawn Slater out for the year. Joe Alt picked up that injury against the Giants a couple of weeks ago. We know what Justin Herbert and Harbaugh are all about. The Colts just keep answering these questions. Oh, can't win here. Can't beat this team. They just keep doing it. I think the Chargers win this game. They are 1.5 favorites. I think they do win this game, but another opportunity for Daniel Jones, who's playing at a Pro Bowl level. I mean, listen, I can't believe I'm saying this. Daniel Jones is in the MVP conversation too, folks. He certainly is. 1,500 yards, 8 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions. Nobody saw this coming. Not at all. A game at 425 that everybody's going to act like is way more important than it really is. The Commanders in Dallas to take on the Cowboys. Who do I want to win this game? Nobody. Can we get another tie? Can we ask for a tie? I would love to see another tie. I would love to see the Cowboys at 2-3-2 going into next week. Tie. Packers and Cardinals, the other matchup at 425. The Packers 3-1-1. Travel to Arizona 2-4. This is the downfall that I've been telling you guys the last couple of weeks with Jonathan Gannon. Did you see his press conference the other day when they ask, like, how do you not get too high or too low? And, when guys are out due to injury, he goes, yeah, he was just very stone cold about it. And he was just like, 2007, our quarterback went to jail. Okay, dude, like that was really, really like sullen and just it was just really creepy, dude. It's like the whole Michael Vick thing when he went to jail for the dog fighting, but just the way he answered it, and that's how the press conference ended. How did you learn how to handle this stuff? Back in 2007 when my quarterback went to jail. All right, don't invite that guy to the party. Sunday night, we're gonna be San Francisco fans here in the Tampa Bay area. Falcons at 3-2. Niners at home, 4-2. Mac Jones, Brock Purdy, who's going to start in that one? The matchup of two of the best running backs in the game with Bijan Robinson and Christian McCaffrey. I don't know, man. I don't know who's going to be ready for that one. Who's going to be ready to roll? Oh, did I forget Giants, Broncos? I did. I did forget Giants and Broncos. Giants 2-4, 0-3 on the road. They're 4-2. I feel like the Giants are not as bad as what their record is, but they're playing this schedule where they're playing all these good teams, and it's like, oh yeah, go play one of the best defenses on the road. I think that could be a tough one. It's 7.5-point spread. The Denver Broncos are favorites. I'll probably ride with Denver for that one. But yeah, we're gonna be rooting for the San Francisco 49ers Sunday night as they host the Atlanta Falcons. Hopefully they help them out with that one. There you go, Adam. When did you learn to remove emotion from coaching? Oh my gosh. It's far for looking crazy on video, Jay. $2. Thank you, Eddie. I appreciate it. It wasn't that bad, my friend. All right. Before we move on to the college side, guys and gals, let's talk real quick about my friends over at the Honest Hammer. Honest Hammer Custom Builders, LLC, 813-244-0956 for all of your residential and commercial needs. Hammer's always here, watching the show. Great dude. General Contractor Company, CGC 153116. Hit him up on email, thehonesthammer@gmail.com, thehonesthammer.com. Your custom home renovations. Listen, if you have a plot of land and you're looking for somebody to be able to build something that you want to your specifications, this is what Honest Hammer does. If you have those kitchen or bathroom renovations, right? New project with the house, give them a call, man. Tell them that you heard it right here on the Jay Recher podcast. And give them the number, 813-244-0956. I want everybody out there, whether it's Benny or David Terry or Eddie or Robert Cochran, anybody, any of our guys and gals, Janet Best, all of the entire crew here, everybody that watches our show, I want you to keep an eye and an ear out for people that are talking about renovations to their house. And this is for everything, like all the things that we endorse here on the show. If you know somebody that's looking to get some renovations done, looking for somebody that, they have a contractor horror story and they want to deal with somebody that they trust, give them the number, give them the website, help them out. Help me, help you, help them, help us. 813-244-0956, Honest Hammer Custom Builders, LLC. Love those guys, man. So please help spread the word. Also, our friends over at Evra Health. everhealth.org, looking at what they do. Just look at all the services: family medicine, pediatrics, dental, women's health, behavioral health, chiropractic, geriatrics, family planning, food, the infusion, nutrition, pharmacy, podiatry, occupational and physical therapy, sports medicine, and telehealth. Careers. The Evra Health Institute, what they're able to do to bring people in and to be able to have them get a job. Get a job there. I mean, and I always like to write them down to make sure that I don't miss any of them. But medical assistant, dental assistant, behavioral health tech, radiation tech, pharmacy tech. And I went in there. I took videos. I'm actually working on the social media post right now. You go there, trade school, just like I did for broadcasting to get me where I'm at. And then you can even work there or work for one of the other medical facilities in the Tampa Bay area or abroad. It is incredible what Evra Health has been able to do. 17 locations there in Pinellas County. They don't want to be your last resort. They want to be your first resort. And there's no issue if you don't have insurance. Get there. There's a sliding scale that can help the uninsured. They take all kinds of insurance. I just told one of my friends the other day something with her daughter, and man, I'm just so happy. Like, it's a blessing, man. It's a blessing to work with a place like EverHealth. Again, something that you heard it right here on the Jay Recher podcast. EverHealth, Honest Hammer, guys and gals, please get out there and do your part to be able to help out. All right, let's look at some of the college football matchups for this weekend. And we mentioned the NFL matchups so far. North Carolina tonight, 10:30 against Cal, and an ACC matchup. That still sounds really weird, doesn't it? All right, we know FAU going to USF, taking on our Bulls tomorrow night. Go USFBulls.com. Please get out there and pack Ray J. I've done everything I can. I hope Rob Higgins, Brian Segrist, Coach Alex Golish, everybody involved with USF knows to get out there and pack Ray J, and that I'm doing everything I can to help spread the word. Miami plays tonight against Louisville. Louisville 4-1, but this is a game over at Miami Gardens. Miami 11.5 point under favorite there. I think they should be in good shape. Some big, nice SEC matchups as well. High noon on ABC. The Bayou Bengals of LSU travel to Nashville to take on the Vanderbilt Commodores at First Bank Stadium. Our good friend Lyndon Blake's going to be there. No doubt about that one. All right. These are one of those things where if Diego can go in there, outduel Garrett Nussmeier, Vanderbilt wins this game, maybe they're the number 10 team in the country, right? LSU wins this game. Does Vanderbilt get knocked all the way out of the top 25? I'll tell you this. LSU wins this game over Vanderbilt. USF moves up a spot, no doubt. They're at 19. Vanderbilt's at 17. You start looking at all of these games. Now, when you're ranked in the top 25, you start looking at all these other matchups, and I've been saying this for the last couple of weeks, and how high USF can really go. You're sitting at 19. You're 5-1. You beat Florida Atlantic. Okay, you take care of business there. Vanderbilt loses at home to LSU. They're going to drop more than 2 spots. They're 5-2. USF at the very least slides up to 18, no? Georgia, 6-0. They travel to Duke. Duke's 4-2. That's another matchup, right? Going to Durham, Wallace Wade Stadium. You know, Mensa was a guy I thought going into the season really gave Duke an opportunity to be successful. Probably the best quarterback that they had since Riley Leonard was there. Over 1,800 yards, only thrown two interceptions so far this season. Georgia Tech, their undefeated season on the line in that matchup. Oklahoma coming off the loss in the Red River rivalry to Texas. They travel to Columbia to take on the Gamecocks of South Carolina. They're 14th. Again, they lose that game. They go on a skid, right? John Mateer, is he 100% healthy? Coming off of that injury, you never know. The Sooners are ripe for the picking. They lose that game. They're 14 now. They'll be below USF. Going on up. Ohio State on the road in Madison against Wisconsin. It's sad to see Wisconsin this bad. I mean, Luke Fickell's another guy. Like, his time is short there with the Badgers. They're 0-3 in the Big Ten already. Oh, God. I just don't understand why it's so difficult. You have the blueprint. Go get a bunch of big-ass offensive linemen. Get a bunch of tight ends. Run the freaking football. Take care of business. Luke Fickell came in there, tried to reinvent the wheel, saying we're going to be this, we're going to be that. Dude, you know what you are? You're 0-3 in the Big Ten. No good. Indiana. At times you'd be worried, right? And maybe in other years you'd be worried. Man, a little bit of a letdown after such a big win last week in Eugene against the Oregon Ducks. They're facing another 0-3 team in the Big Ten with Michigan State. Where's the Mark D'Antonio days, right? Like, it's just crazy how things have fallen off. Number 4, Texas A&M. They're still undefeated, 6-0. They travel to Arkansas to take on the Razorbacks. I think the A&M should be good, even though the number's a little low, 7.5 point favorite. So they're giving some respect to the Razorbacks there. We got a big one. We got a big one in Athens. The Bulldogs, the Georgia Bulldogs. They're 5-1, and they host the 6-0 Rebels of Ole Miss. And as much as people want to write off certain teams and say, like, I always talk about prove-it games. Ole Miss is that team. I was having a discussion with my buddy a couple weeks ago. He's a big Ole Miss guy. He went to Ole Miss. His daughters went to Ole Miss. His son went to Ole Miss. And we were looking at the schedule, and I said, that's going to be the one right there. That's going to be the game where it's like, okay, where are you at? Because at that time we were saying, okay, and that you're going to be probably 6, and if everything goes to plan, you'll be 6-0. Then you got to go to Georgia and beat the Dogs. All right. If you want people to take you serious, that's the game you got to win. You got to go on the road. SEC teams, and that's the big difference when you're talking about whether you're real or not in college football, and especially in a conference. And again, you could argue until midnight about, is Big Ten's better than SEC right now? I get that, right? We'll have that conversation for another day. But one thing that we do know is that over the years, when these big-time schools and these big-time conferences were able to win the national championship, they went on the road in the middle of the season, and they were able to win these tough games. Alabama was able to go on the road during their heyday and win those low-scoring games, right, against like the LSUs of the world, right? It doesn't have to be pretty. Sometimes style points do count, but when you're on the road in conference against another top 10 team, the style points to me go out the window. What you do right now matters. And that's why when I had this discussion earlier this week about college football and saying that wasn't a good win, that wasn't a bad win. So Ole Miss wins this game this weekend, right? Georgia goes on to lose maybe 1 or 2 more games, right? And let's say they finish their year at 8-4. Is it fair to say down the road that Ole Miss's win in Athens wasn't a good win? No, because at the time, you can only play the people that are on your schedule, but you can't affect the rankings either. You don't rank the team. Somebody else does. As of right now, Georgia's a top 10 team in the country. You can't play them with knowledge of what their record is going to be at the end of the year. They're going to be a different team. Right now, Ole Miss, I don't give a shit what happens with the rest of the season. Ole Miss goes into Athens and beats Georgia. That's a good win. I'll say it now. I'll say it in 2 weeks. I'll say it at the end of the year. And then you got to go belly to belly. You got to go back to back. And you got to go to Oklahoma, right? And you got to win that game against the Sooners. We'll see if they can bounce back after the loss to Texas. But then you look at their schedule down the stretch. South Carolina, Citadel, Gators, and then on the road to Mississippi State in the Egg Bowl. Come on. I mean, Ole Miss, again, this is for my friends out there, my friends that love the Rebels, right? Now's the time. This is your year, man. Go out there and do your thing. Texas Tech travels to Arizona State. They're the number 7 team in the country. They're sitting at 6-0. Memphis on the road against UAB. They're still undefeated as well, ahead of that big-time matchup next week with the USF Bulls. Oregon on the road to take on Rutgers. Let's see how they respond. I'm sure they'll respond in kind. I'll take Oregon in a big way in that one after losing at home to Indiana. Number 18, Virginia at 5-1. They host Washington State. Kentucky host number 21, Texas. They're back in the top 25 after that win over Oklahoma. And then these last, 8 o'clock, Cincinnati takes on 1-5 Oklahoma State. And then Auburn hosts number 16, Missouri. But you look at these last 3 games that I want to talk about. And we'll start with the one that starts the latest. Utah and BYU. We don't get it. It's so strange to be able to watch and look at their records and to say both these teams are in the Big 12. But this is a rivalry that is as old as time. In Provo, we saw the Bulls play there a couple years ago. We know it's not an easy team to play. But the Cougars, and when you have a quarterback that wears number 47, I love that. I usually hate it, but that is just one of those quirky things because BYU goes about things in their own way. They really do. But you know how important this game is. Not just because of the rankings, not just because Utah's 5-1, BYU is 6-0. These teams could be 1-5, and this would mean the world to them. I think BYU wins this to stay undefeated Even though I like Utah and I love the coaching staff over there as well. USC and Notre Dame. I don't know what to make of Notre Dame and how people look at this team. And they're number 13 in the country. They're 4-2. The weight of their wins means so much more than any other team in the country. And the weight of their losses means so much less than any other team in the country. Just the way it goes. They're going to get an opportunity. And even if what's going to happen. USC could win this game on the road. And Notre Dame will be 4-3, and somehow they'll be ranked 25th. Follow the money. Follow the money. I'm trying to think who I would lean to in this game. These two games, and I know Notre Dame's a 9.5-point favorite, but you wonder, can SC keep it close? And with Maava being as athletic as he is, only 2 interceptions on the season, they have the offensive firepower to shove it and to let Notre Dame know, like, we're not here. We're not going to get trampled on. I think Notre Dame might win, but 9.5 is a big, big spread. So we'll see about that one. And then finally, in Tuscaloosa, Bryant-Denny Stadium, number 6, Alabama welcomes in number 11, Tennessee. And I know my guy Tommy Chuck and my guy Ronnie Night Train Lane are going to be keeping a close eye on this one. Alabama against 7.5-point favorites. The Crimson Tide have been the team that, and if you remember this, Nick Kelly from AL.com joined us earlier this year, and he said, I'd be very surprised if Alabama didn't make the college football playoff. I was actually more surprised at his comment because, again, I needed to see it. I needed to see them be able to bounce back from adversity. I needed to see, now that you're having less and less guys that were there from the Nick Saban era and are Kalen DeBoer guys, were they going to be able to maintain their status amongst the elite in the Southeastern Conference? And so far this year, 3-0 in the SEC, they're 5-1. And if they win this game, I think they're firmly entrenched in that top tier in the conference. And you know that Tennessee is licking their chops going, this is a prime opportunity for us. Alabama down the stretch after this one, they travel to South Carolina and then home to matchups against LSU, Oklahoma, a cupcake against Eastern Illinois, and then on the road to Auburn for the Iron Bowl. So, again, this is the great thing about sports. You have the opportunity to change the narrative in your favor. Tennessee wins this game on the road, right? Now they're top 10 now, but now you're looking, are they 6th? Do they switch spots here? After this, they travel to Kentucky, home to Oklahoma, New Mexico State, on the road against the Gators, then home again to Vanderbilt. Love this matchup. I'm going to go with Alabama, right? You've proved to me so far this year that you're the real deal. When somebody shows you who you are, you believe them. And I like that Tennessee's moved on from Nico and gone to Aguilar, and they can put up some points on the board too, but we know how tough it is to be able to win there in Tuscaloosa. Ty Simpson's really spinning it well this year. And as long as Caden Proctor doesn't get out in space and start running the triple option, like that, dude, I love the creativity. I think that's been one of the big parts of Alabama, which has endeared themselves to me, but also, like, I'm a believer. Like, that's coaching, man. You practice that kind of stuff. You don't just do it during the games. It shows that they're detailed. It shows that they're practicing their ass off. It shows that they're not afraid to utilize that in the game. I like that. It shows of a prepared football team. And I'm not stuck in my ways of like, oh, they suck. I didn't think they were going to be good. I'm going to die on that hill. I don't care if I'm wrong. It's not a big deal. If I think something's going to happen, it doesn't happen, whatever. If I sit there and I just because I'm stuck in my ways, like that seems stupid and immature and childish. I'll go with Alabama winning that one. All right. A lot of other things on the tube this weekend too. It's not just football. And we'll start with our Tampa Bay Lightning. They're in action tonight in Detroit against the Red Wings. 1-2-1 are our Bolts. 3-1 are the Detroit Red Wings. A battle of Atlantic Division opponents here. Now, Steven Santini got called up today from Syracuse. Max Scherzer is going to be out for a while. And if you heard Dr. Rodriguez last week, or yesterday, excuse me, he was talking about how it looks like it's a high ankle sprain, and it could have been a lot worse if his ankle wasn't secure in that boot. So Santini, I think, is going to – it's more insurance than anything else. We know that they're going through a back-to-back. They're playing tomorrow night as well in Columbus. So when you have Santini, it's more of a precaution type of thing because Darren Radish is going to slot right in. Darren Radish is going to get that opportunity. I think we'll see if Jack Finley or Curtis Douglas get in the lineup tonight. It's one of the two of those guys. I know Zemgus Girgensons was on the ice today with the Lightning, so that is a good sign. Andrei Vasilevsky was not between the pipes during morning skate today. It was just an optional skate. So all signs would point to that he would get the start tonight in Detroit against the Red Wings. So we'll keep a close eye on that. But, tough little road trip here for the Bolts. Go on out there, do what you got to do, and take care of business and come home with a couple of victories. But we'll be keeping our eye tonight on the Tampa Bay Lightning. That is for sure. Hopefully we can get Kucherov and Hagel and some of these guys really kind of finding their groove. And again, I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. Let's get Connor Geekie on that first line, man. Connor Geekie. Get him on that first line. Boom. Bada boom. Bada boom. Our Tampa Bay Rowdies in action. It's been a tough end to the season for our Rowdies. They're in action tomorrow night. The penultimate. So there's 2 more home games for the Rowdies right now. Tomorrow night against Hartford Athletic, Rough and Rowdies night at Al Lang Stadium, and then next Saturday, 7:30 against Detroit FC Fan Appreciation Night. Both games on Tampa Bay 44 and ESPN Plus. Get your tickets, rowdiessoccer.com. It's been a rough putt for USL. Let's hope that Coach Dom Cassiato next, can learn and find out what players are going to be part of the solution next year, because it's just weird, man. It's weird seeing it's weird seeing the Rowdies at this point. They're one of the better teams in this league, but this year has just been ugly. It has been rough. Eddie, do I see a Kucherov goal tonight? I do. Put some cheddar on it, buddy. Put some cheddar on it. MLB action. Toronto in Seattle to take on the Mariners. Game 5. Both teams, the visiting team has won all 4 games so far in this series, which is kind of wild, because I thought, man, maybe is Toronto in trouble? You start second guessing it. Kevin Gausman on the bump for the Jays tonight as they look to make it 3 in a row in the Pacific Northwest. He'll be countered by Bryce Miller, a 6:08 first pitch there on Fox Sports 1, and then the Dodgers go for the sweep tonight. 8:38 first pitch on TBS. Shohei Ohtani on the mound for the Dodgers. And again, I just think it's inevitable that the Dodgers are going to make it to the World Series and win the World Series. So regardless, I think Toronto and Seattle are battling for second place. All right. MMA action. DeRitter against Allen. That's the main event there. You see Kevin Holland, who's my least favorite fighter in the history of the UFC. So, again, these are cards. The steamroller Matt Frivola is on there. That's pretty cool. But this matchup happening in the at Rogers Arena in Vancouver, Canada. I've been there before. A very, very nice place. But the American Brendan Allen, he is the underdog in this one against Renier D. Ritter. Southpaw Orthodox matchup. Mike Malott, the Canadians, a bunch of Canadians on this card too. Cody Gibson, Kyle Nelson against our guy Matt Frivola. I'm trying to see Drew Dober. Man, some of these old names on here. But yeah, just an iffy card. An iffy card for our MMA brethren out there. NBA, we're getting closer. Last preseason games out there. Anything else? And then we'll finish up with the soccer schedule. Any big boxing matchups? All right, we'll go with the soccer matchups to watch this weekend. Soccer matchups to watch this weekend. David Terry, where you at? Get to you in a second. Today, any big matchups? PSG plays today against Strasbourg. So PSG, one of the best teams in the world, at 2:45 at the Parc des Princes. Okay. tomorrow on the pitch. Premier League back in action after the international break. Big matchups tomorrow include, Nottingham Forest. They're dealing with Ange Postecoglou. They want him fired already. He's only been there a couple freaking weeks. They're home hosting Chelsea. Chelsea's still the favorite in that one. Brighton host Newcastle. Man City host Everton. I think they shouldn't have an issue with that. But here's the thing with that game. Jack Grealish returned to Man City. Won the treble there. Party boy. He returns back to the Etihad. That should be a good one. Minus 270 is Man City for that one. Then Fulham at home to Arsenal. A bunch of Americans for Fulham. Arsenal against Girona. Atletico against Osasuna. The Bundesliga. Oh, boy. Here we go. Their Klassiker, as they like to call it. Their Klassiker. 12:30 on Saturday from Alliance Arena in Munich. Bayern Munich, Borussia Dortmund, the two big studs in the Bundesliga. That's a huge matchup. I will find a way. Those matches are nuts. The crazy thing about the Bundesliga, too, everything always seems like it's very poorly lit. It's like, it's very dreary and very ominous. Like it's wild, man. That's a good freaking match to watch. I know you're going to be wrapped up in the college football. I get that. But if you're going to watch one match this week outside of the one I'm going to mention in a second, that's historic rivalry right there. We talk about rivalry right now, historic. That's historic. Bayern Munich, Borussia Dortmund, 12:30 on Saturday. I'm going to be coaching. Yes, I practice from 10 to 12. When I come home, I'm going to shower, and I'm going to be watching that game. I'll be watching college football on the TV, but I'll definitely be watching that game on my laptop. No doubt about it. It's that big, guys. It's that big. And I don't even have a dog in the fight, but that shit is nuts. And then Sunday, Tottenham Hotspur at home against Aston Villa, but at 11:30 on USA and Telemundo from Anfield in Liverpool, England. Liverpool against Manchester United. One of the biggest rivalries in the history of sport renews their rivalry. The over-under is 3.5. I'll say the over in this one because you always, if it's a low-scoring game, it's good for Man United. If it's a high-scoring game, I think it's way better for Liverpool. Because Liverpool at times they'll score 4, 5, or 7 in this shit. David, Terry, and I, we're going back and forth. We're going back and forth on this one. I don't even know what to say. Like, man, you can't bet on these guys. I can't even bet on these guys because they're so bad. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm praying for a draw. That's how bad it is. That's where I'm at for my fanhood when it comes to United. Just give me a draw on the road, 1-1. Give me a 1-1 draw. Real Madrid, they're on the road to Getafe. Italian Serie A. Como host Juventus. That's a pretty good one. AC Milan at home against Fiorentina. Where's Napoli? Did I not see Napoli? Napoli's the team to watch now. Again, with Kevin De Bruyne and Rasmus Højlund and Scotty McTominay. Did they play on Monday? No. Saturday? Did I miss it? They don't play Saturday? What am I missing? Oh, they do. They play against Torino. Okay. Torino and Napoli on Saturday. That's a pretty good one, too. Oh, and then Roma against Inter. I skipped it there. Roma against Inter. That's another good one. 2:45 on Saturday. All right. We're going to finish the show here in a way that we haven't done before. Where do you want to watch the match? I'm probably going to be coaching baseball out in Sanford, out in Orlando. All right. So I wanted to do something new for the end of the show here. And I wanted to do an Ask Me Anything. So what we've done the last couple of Fridays is we've gotten to a point where we get to Friday, we kind of talk about a little bit of everything, and then Friday you guys have been asking me some like weird questions. You've asked me a little different, not always about sports, it's more about my life. So we're gonna open it up, and screw you, Dolan, with the Liverpool shout out. You're dead to me. I'm sending you a Taylor Swift CD in the car. I'm gonna send you 100 of them, so you have to deliver them to yourself in the UPS truck. That'd be hilarious. But let's open it up. Ask me anything. I'm going to start. Let's put the banner out there. Boom. Ask me anything. You guys have 10 minutes to ask me whatever you want because we're going to stop right at 1:40. Don't ask me for winning lottery numbers because you know damn well if I had those winning lottery numbers, I wouldn't be doing this freaking podcast. If I did win the lottery, let me tell you this. If I won the lottery, I would give all of our OGs, every member of the Wrecking Crew, I would give you guys, if I won the lottery, I would give everybody $1,000. $1,000. David Terry, I'd give you $995 because you'd have a $5 penalty for being a Liverpool fan. Sorry. Jake Cobian. Jay, what's your favorite food and what restaurant is your go-to? Okay. It depends on what we get. I'm going to give you the food that I like, right? My favorite food, I love Mexican food. I love Italian food. Those are my two big ones. But where do I go for certain things? All right. Pizza. The only spot I go to for pizza is Alfonso's. It's in the plaza on the corner of Florida and Bears. Marco and his lovely wife, Brittany. I love those guys, though. Or Feet Chase. I love them so much. They are my people. I've been going there for 20 years. I found them one of my first places to find when I moved here. A lot of people say, oh, we got New York pizza, blah, blah, bro. And it's not cheap because he uses expensive product because that's what you got to do. Like if you're going to go out to eat, again, it's not, but here's the thing. It's not overpriced either, but you know what you're getting there. I'm going out to dinner tonight with a friend. So that's why I was going to say, maybe I'll go there now, but no, I can't do that. Alfonso's. Go to Alfonso's. Tell them that you heard it right here on the Jay Recher podcast. For wings, I love the wings. District Tavern the other night for the USF watch party. Really good. Blind Goat's got my favorite wings, though. It's those two. The burger, I love the Q bacon cheeseburger at Miller's, man. That's just my spot. I love it. And then I had the steak frites at Boulon Brasserie. Steak and french fries. Why would you get that there? That's what you got to do. Unbelievable. Don't really eat fast food. Try not to. Not good for me. Jay, how do you have time to be involved with everything you do? I think it's about getting enough rest and proportioning your time. And to be honest with you, too, I'm single, right? I'm a single guy. I don't have any kids, so I can be a little bit more selfish with my time. But you know, I try to sleep in. Like my friends were texting me at 7:45 this morning. I'm like, dude, that's not happening. Not happening. Sorry. And I know people say early bird gets the worm, but for me, like I need to get rest. I need to force myself to rest or I get myself sick. It happens. I've been doing that pretty much my adult life. So I make sure that I stay up as late as possible to get my stuff done. And then I try to sleep as long as possible. So I'll go to sleep, you know, sometimes at midnight, and then I'll get up at whatever, 6, 7. And this is the days when I have like my podcast. When I have the podcast, I know I start at 12. I know that I really just got to get everything rolling by 10. So give me 2 hours of prep time to be able to go. Like then when I have baseball on the weekends and I don't dictate how long I sleep. The schedule does. So sometimes I'm getting up at 5:30 in the morning. So I try to get sleep whenever I can, and I try to draw everything out. I have a schedule. I've written it all down. I communicate. I over communicate with people, and then I make sure that if I have to have tough conversations, I do. I try to every little thing I do. Things still fall through the cracks, no doubt about it. Will you do shows live in person? That would be dope. Yeah, at some point, and I think that's something that Ian Beckles and I have talked about as well, to try to do that. But yeah, I'm definitely open to it. You want to probably get a little bit bigger. But yeah, on the way. Definitely on the way. Dolan, would you go back to WDAE and iHeart if they asked you back? Let's put it like this. Never say never. Never say never. Because I love what I'm doing now, and I love the freedom. I love the freedom to be able to do what I want. I love the freedom to be able to go and do a couple of different things. I like the ability to be able to talk about whatever the fuck I want to talk about and be able to curse every once in a while too. You know, I love, and you guys know, like I talk a lot of football and I talk a lot of Buccaneers and I cover all the games. But the fact that if you do a 3-hour show that you have to talk about the Bucs at 12, 1, and 2, like that's just like maybe it'd be different if I did it by myself, right? And not with a partner. And it's not saying anything bad about Zach or Ian or anybody. It's different, right? I always wanted to do a show with somebody else. I never wanted to do a show by myself. And then as I got older, you start thinking of like, you just get very particular about how you want to phrase conversations and what you want to talk about, and things change, right? Like nothing wrong with that. Again, it's nothing wrong with those guys, but if I would ever go back, I don't know if I would ever go back in a tandem. I think I would just want to go back by myself, because then I would do what I wanted and format the show in my way. Not saying I wouldn't talk NFL top of the hour, right? I would, but it would just be in a different form or fashion. And I like that I don't have to do that here. You know, it's tough, right? And now for me, like I can just hop on and go for, because you think about it, there's so many commercial breaks, right? So yeah, you're quote unquote on the air for 3 hours, but if you have 6 minutes here and six minutes after you start the show on at 12, then you have 6 minutes of commercial time, and then 6 minutes of commercial time. You're getting 40 minutes. So at the end of the day, 120 minutes, so you're speaking for 2 hours, right? And how much of that is really, you know, hard hitting content? Like right here, I'd rather just give you 90 straight minutes here, exactly what you want. And then if you didn't like what you could go back, you could go forward. So yeah, I would never say never, man. And here's the thing too. I got a great relationship with everybody over there. The sales team, the management, everybody, the people that still work there. It sucks that we saw last week that Katie Summers and Sarah Jacobs both got let go from 93.3 FLZ and 103.5 FUS, respectively. It sucks, man, but that's part of the beast too, right? They say you don't really work in radio until you get let go. It's just sad for my friends. It really is. What's your favorite drink? Also, Jay, I'm really not a big drinker, like at all. Like I don't really drink that much. My drink now though, like if I have a drink, I'm a 1 drink or maybe a 2 drink, but not very much at all. Like not more than that. I don't like being drunk. It's just not my thing. I like being in control. I don't need to drink to have fun. That's just me, right? And I don't drink beer. Beer gives me headaches. I don't really like the taste. You know, I like juice. I like water. You know, I drink vitamin water, tropical citrus. Like I've always been like that. My palate's always been like that. I don't like bitter tasting things. Right now I like Crown Apple and Sprite. It's scary because if I was an alcoholic, I could drink a whole bottle of Sprite. And you wouldn't even know you were drinking alcohol. It's really scary. How far did I go in hockey? What position did I play? So I played roller hockey in a place called St. John of God. And I'm taking questions for 2 more minutes. So I'll take about 2 more questions. I played roller hockey at a place called St. John of God when I was 9-10 years old. I played baseball from when I was 3-4. But a friend of mine, Mikey Pisano, played hockey in this league. And I was at his house one day and I said, man, this looks really cool. I want to try out. And I did. And the unique thing about this roller hockey league is because a lot of roller hockey leagues around the country, and I spoke about this to Pat Maroon once because he plays. A lot of the roller hockey leagues around the country are 4-on-4, not 5-on-5. They're indoors and there's no checking. This league was the closest roller hockey league to ice hockey and real hockey you're ever going to see. It was 5-on-5, outside, on asphalt, full checking. And there was 3 divisions, the Pee Wee division, the junior division, and the senior division. So you started as low as 4 or 5 years old. It was like 5 to 11, and then 12 to 14 was 5 to 11, I think, or 5 to 12 was Pee Wees, and then the next 3 years were juniors, and then the last 3 years, so like 15, 16, 17, or whatever, was seniors. So I started 9 and 10. So they have the little lines for 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then it was like 9, 10, 11. So I started at 9 and 10. So I had 2 years in Pee Wees with the Sharks and then with the Bruins. And the Bruins, we lost in the finals. And then a couple of years in juniors with the Sharks again. And then in seniors, I played 2 years with the North Stars. and we actually won the cup my first year. We lost it. We lost in the semifinals this year after, but then we played high school hockey my junior year, and I played forward my first 2 years, and then the end of my second year I played defense. And then when I got drafted for juniors, they put me on defense, and it really, I think, stunted my growth. I really wish I played forward, because when I went to play forward my last year as a junior in high school, I scored 27 goals. And I was, and I played travel hockey that year. And as a forward, I had my best game. I had a 6-goal game. Like I, and I worked at it. I worked really, really hard to be good at hockey. And I was okay. Like I wasn't the greatest player in the world, but I wasn't the worst. And I didn't, I wasn't the fastest guy. I didn't have the greatest shot, but I was a good passer. I wasn't afraid to get physical and block shots. And I was just a smart player. I was like Dan Girardi. That was kind of like the guy that I was. I was really tough. And it's just what it was. And it made me better as a baseball player as well. Dolan, you get the last one. If you could be a coach or a GM and could only pick one, football, baseball, hockey, it's a baseball coach. Because I think people have said, like, man, you're so, I got into doing this radio stuff at 28. I said, yeah, and as fun as I have and as, talented as some people may think I am, like, I feel like being a baseball coach is one of the things that I was put on this planet to do, to be able to influence people and to just be a positive guide for young players, any age. That's the thing with me. I've been able to do it with, coach young athletes and older athletes, and to be able to resonate my message with them and to be able to get through to them. So yeah, being a baseball coach would definitely be that thing for me. All right, we're going to do Ask Me Anything every single Friday at 1:30 to finish the show. So if you have any questions, you didn't get them in this week, we'll do it next week as well. All right. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok. I am everywhere. Like and subscribe on YouTube as well. A big thank you to Honest Timer, EverHealth, and our guest today, the future voice of USF football, Jim Lighthall. You can catch him tomorrow night on the broadcast, USF and FAU, the homecoming game at Raymond James Stadium. Go get your tickets now. Go USFBulls.com. Pack Ray J. I'll be there, and hopefully you will be too. Rowdysoccer.com if you're trying to go to that game either this Saturday or next Saturday. Of course, we got Lightning hockey tonight and tomorrow on the road in Detroit and Columbus. A lot of great stuff going on. And then Monday night, don't forget, come watch the game with us at A-Loft in Midtown with our guy Ian Beckles, Bucs and Lions Monday Night Football. Big thank you to David Terry, Eddie Harada, Jake Cobian, Eddie 2 more times, but not you, David Terry. Liverpool and Man U Sunday. I'm sure I'll hear from you before then, my guy DT. I love you guys. Thank you all for the support. It's been a great week. Another one next week as well. Hopefully, I usually say on Friday, hopefully it's a victory Monday, but it'll be a victory Monday. It'll be a victory Monday for the Lightning and the Rowdies, not because of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Hopefully we have a victory Tuesday for them as well. But everybody be safe. Have a happy and healthy weekend, and we'll see you on Monday right here on the Jay Recher Podcast.